Here's another thing I want to pose to you guys. Why do bad things happen to good people?
Why?
Ooh, wow. That's a question.
I have an answer to this, but I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Why do good things happen?
No.
Why
do
bad
things
things happen
the
to good people?
Yeah.
Well, I can tackle that in a multitude of ways. Depends how much of a saint you want to behave like. If you want to be like a saint, you can just say no bad things happen and just tank everything. And just say, I can choose to get sad about this, or I can move on from it and just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could just say, bad luck, If something happened that I didn't want to happen, but it did, and I'm not angelic enough to just move on, usually I'll just say something like, well, that sucked. Anyway, let's move on, because there's nothing I can do. Like, at that point, as long as I'm alive and I'm breathing, there's nothing more I could really ask for other than, all right, something bad happened. I really wish it didn't, but now that it's over, well, time to move on to the next step of my life. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? I don't know, but I'm going to try my best and hope for the best. But that doesn't really answer your question on why. I mean, why? Everyone goes through bad stuff. It's called being human. It's called being alive.
So you're trying to tell us that you're a good person?
What?
Oh. Are you stumped?
You don't make any sense.
I just said, like, everyone goes through bad stuff, and your remark is, oh, so you basically, shut up, Pete, just shut up. Everyone suffers. Good, bad, ladies, gentlemen, everyone, everything in between. We all suffer in some way or another. I think.
What about you, Pete?
I'd like to meet the person who didn't and ask them what's their secret.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But, yeah, Pete, what do you have to say about this?
Why do bad things happen to good people?
Yes.
That's such a loaded question. But I can start off by saying I don't see good people and bad people. I see people. And I see things, So I'm not trying to create a dichotomy of good and bad here. I think that things happen and we decide what to make of it. So I think this is funny enough, like the whole, like, my thoughts are not my own thing. I'm bringing it back here because I'm super, I can control a lot of what I can control. And similar to what Alex said, if it's not in your control, then you just have to let it go because you can't do anything about it, right? So things happen, and I think that if those things are good, it's great. If those things are bad and you can't control them, what can you do, right? Like, if you can find a way to put control of those bad things in your life, and then at least you have a justification for why they're happening because you were the cause, then maybe, you can figure out a way to get yourself out of that bad situation. But I think we have the power to create our own luck. I think we have the power to find ourselves in ways that I think are a lot more positive than most people would agree with. And, you don't want to think that you don't have any control over your own situation, right? Who does?
So what about the example of, let's say, a kid, they have cancer and it's untreatable, right? In that scenario, this is a very bad thing that's happening to a relatively good person. They're not an adult. What would you say to that? You can't really control that.
No,
right?
You can't. But you also can't necessarily, like I said, I'm not going to put this kid as a good or bad person. And obviously cancer is a horrible thing, but we can't just assume that because they're good people that bad things happening would be like the end of the world. Because the truth is that bad things and good things happen to everyone. Like, I'm like a glass half full type of guy. So of course there's no way you could have affected a way that person gets cancer out of nowhere like that. But it's hard to imagine a world in which you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Abstract.
Yeah. I would say, just going back to the original question I posed, like, why do bad things happen to good people? For me personally, I think you need the yin and the yang. Like, you need the bad to appreciate the good. You need the good to appreciate the bad. And it's all about your perspective. If you're just focusing on the bad things, like, oh my gosh, my life sucks, you know, everyone hates me, that yada yada, you're focusing only on the bad things, and it's a terrible mindset, first off. But you have to, like you said, P, focus on like the glass is half full, like that outlook. Another thing was sort of like relates to all this. In high school, I got really into this thing called the law of attraction, which a lot of people either agree with it or disagree with it. But basically, at its core, your thoughts create your reality. And there's some caveats, but let me go back to the example of someone with like a poor mindset. If you have, let's say, take Bob, right? Bob, he goes through his day and he really believes that his life sucks.
God
really
dang
sucks.
it, Bob.
He doesn't have a lot of friends. God dang it, Bob. But he goes through his day. Let's say someone spills coffee on him. He's like, oh, darn it. Like, all right, let me keep moving. But that sucks. Like, of course that happened because my life sucks. He just has this really negative outlook. Sooner or later, you're subconsciously, by focusing on the negative things in your life, you're subconsciously bringing more negativity into your life. So sooner or later, your thoughts of my life sucks will become a reality because you're just focusing on those negative aspects. Versus, on the flip side, you take Susie. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Susie is really positive. She focuses on the good things in life. Yeah, maybe someone's spilled coffee on her, but she's going to keep moving through her day. She's like, well, you know, maybe I'll pay for that coffee that person dropped or something. Just, she has I don't know. I mean, she's a very positive outlook. And with that, she is subconsciously bringing about positivity into her life. So I really believe in karma. If you put out stuff into the universe, you're going to get the same things back. So putting out negativity, you're going to get negativity back. So going back to the whole, sorry, I'm just like talking to you guys.
That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. But why do bad things happen to good people? You need the bad to appreciate the good. And you can't focus on the bad. You have to keep moving forward and have a positive outlook. Focus on the positive aspects of life and appreciate the negative and use those as lessons to further your own growth. Yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
I'm going to play devil's advocate really quick and say, logically, then one must appreciate the good so much that they will also have to appreciate the bad as well.
Yeah, you do. You need both. You can't just have, if someone only has good things happen in their life, they become bored. They become comfortable. If we lived in a utopia, we would be so bored all the time because everything's so perfect. On the flip side, if we had everything terrible, we're gonna romanticize, like if you are living like borderline poverty, you're gonna romanticize, I don't know, like a life of riches. But at the same time, it really depends. I think you need to appreciate both. It can't be one or the other.
I'm all for it. I think we're two sides of the same coin, to be honest.
Yeah.
But Alex doesn't look like he agrees.
What are your thoughts, Alex?
I'm fine with it. I'm just, I was thinking, about the example with the kid, and I always imagine what would happen to me if I lost like my limbs or something, or if I got a disease, or then the doctor said, oh yeah, we can't do this, we can't fix it. I honestly would just live my life. Like, there probably would be a period where I'd be like, man, this kind of sucks right now. I lost my arm, or I have cancer, or whatever the bad thing that's happening to me. But then I'll be like, well, this is my life now. What can I do with it? Because it's my life. I'm not gonna. My life is my own. It's the only thing that truly belongs to me. I make the most of it, or I can give it up. It's up to me to decide. And if I was in a situation where things looked bleak, I would just do what I want, find what I'm still interested in and just try and ignore, like not ignore per se, like understand it, and cling on to the hope that things can change or things can get better. But I wouldn't let it stop me from living my life, because if I let it stop me, then am I really alive anymore? As for the whole, I forgot what you just said. You said something about you need to have the bad to appreciate the good. I mean, there's the famous expression, you never know what you have until it's gone. So like in a utopia, people would be spoiled by how good everything is, and the second you took someone from a utopia and put them in like the real world or in a horrible world, they're going to be like, oh my god, what have I done? I've lost everything good in the world. They'll definitely appreciate it then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.